Welcome back. We're working on our 6950. I've had students in here last couple of days. They have installed the new pistons onto our connecting rods, got our new rings on there. A couple of things about the rings. The middle ring, or the wiper ring in this set, has a lip on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that lip there or not, but there's a lip on the bottom of it, and that lip goes down. And then the top ring in the set was silver. We just matched those up according to what we had going on with the last one. So students did that. Then they've been working on cleaning the block up, getting all of our gasket residues off of that. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pull the injection pump off, because we thought we had an issue with the injection pump, listening to what the customer was telling us. So we're going to pull this little CAV injection pump off and send it off to a pump shop and go on and get it rebuilt. They are bad for having some issues, and when those issues start arising, what I've talked to a few of the Kubota dealers around, they do some hard starting issues. So we're going to pop this thing off and get everything timed, and that's kind of what we were talking about. We've got a timing video I put out where I was showing the students how to time an engine when I don't have the valves on top, what I can look at. Even if I can't see the timing mark, there's a couple ways that I can do it. But we're gonna, we've already got this thing in time right here, and we're gonna pull this pump off. So one of the things I was reading about on the CAVs is when they start leaking, they start getting some external leaks as well. And you can see this one has got quite a bit of gunk on it. It'll need to be cleaned up. But what we've got here, we've got our two fuel lines. We had a throttle linkage that went in right here. I've already popped that off. And then I've got a another linkage right here. It looks like it's kind of on the, might be throttle there. One's throttle and one's keel. But anyway, we'll pop this off. We'll take these two fuel lines out here. Our injector lines are already off. I'm going to scratch a mark right here on the between the block or the front housing here and my injection pump, because these are slotted holes, so they can rotate a little bit. So I want to get that line back up. I pulled my front cover off right up here, and we're going to pop that out. And I'm going to look in my window here. I can pop this side cover off this window, and I should have two marks that should be lined up. We'll get all that set up for you, and let you see what that looks like. All right, they're on there pretty good. Just always be cautious when you are removing your fuel lines like this. They have a banjo bolt, and on top of your fuel line, on the bottom of your fuel line, you have a copper washer. All right, so you got two copper washers, and so fuel flows through the middle of the bolt and out that hole, and there's a hole inside of that fuel line, and that's where that fuel is going to go to. All right, so I'm going to lay this off to the side. Get our next one on the front. And on the, I believe this is the kill switch, because this injection pump here uses a mechanical rod for a kill switch. So now we got to be cautious here. We got our filter up here, and these two lines are kind of holding that filter up in the air there. So when I pull those two lines off, we'll see if I need to take this third line here off that's still mounted to my fuel pump. Not injection pump, but my fuel pump, my lift pump. I'm gonna have to pull it back up. Now, that line's not coming out of there at the moment. So that looks like that's pretty good. Anyway, this kill switch, it's got a slide right here. And so hopefully you can see, and I cannot get it to slide back out. So I'm gonna take these two bolts out and remove this, because it's got a pin right there that holds it in there. So let's get a wrench and get that. All right, we'll pop these two out. Take this little bracket here off. That'll also allow us to see that window a little easier. Now I'm gonna stick the bolts right back in there so I know where they go. Back right there. Those are not a 10mm on the. All right, I'm gonna reposition you all to a little bit better spot, maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there now. I'll pull this little window off here. Had a little diesel fuel in it. Wasn't quite expecting that. That's all right. Well, one thing I am good at, making a mess. Now, I'm gonna wash my hands, I'll be right back. All right, y'all see those two lines? You can barely see them looking up through there. Those two lines are mated up. Get the light right there, we go. Those two lines are mated up. That means we are in time. And that goes to say that everything else on the other side was set up the way it should have been. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna scratch my mark on there and pull our cover or our gear off right there. And if you look at that gear as well, there should be, got too much stuff in it, you see the two timing marks right there. So I'm also going to put a paint mark on there so I can see that a little bit easier. Now I'm going to take a good flathead screwdriver. I'm going to scratch me a mark on here. I don't know if you can see where I'm at in there. I can get through all the dirt and grime there. I'm going to get that mark scratched on there where it's on both pieces. And that way when I put that back on there, because these holes right here are slotted, so I can retard or advance the timing a little bit. So that way I line it back up where it was at. We'll get that ready to pull it off now. Got a little bit different gear how this one comes off. Rotate it. Well, may have to get me a small breaker bar out of there. Really don't like doing it this way. There we go. Didn't take a lot. Now, main thing when you're doing this, you don't want to drop either one of those bolts. I can get right here, you can see. You don't want to drop either one of these bolts down in that housing there, or a washer or anything, because then it's going to be fun to get out. All right. So I got a little plate like that with 2 bolts in it. We'll start loosening everything else up. All right, I'll pull that cover off and thread this out so our gear will come out. All right. So that plate, when that plate's on there, it's pretty much holding this nut from backing out. So it looks like this right here. I'm gonna show you here just a second. Looks like that right there. And so that won't back out. So you gotta take the cover off and then loosen that nut in the middle. And then that will give you to where you can slide your gear out, okay? All right, now we're gonna loosen the 3 bolts back here on the back and slide the pump off. So we'll take our 13 millimeter, slide it on there. I may have to end up having a swivel to get to some of these. Break it loose. All right. Just doesn't want to pop off there with the socket. See if I can get a wrench on it. We have to go slow way for a little bit. I'm going to try to find a swivel. Put my swivel on there. All right, there's the first one off. That's the easy one, folks. The hard one's going to be on the back side. A little more in the front. Let's see what I can do to get this back kind of on the bottom, right back. It's right down in there. I may be able to get a short 13 millimeter in there. Get it down there on it. Tight spot. Show you what we're looking at here. You look down in there and get the camera set up. We're having to go at an angle, so not the best of spots to get into. I like to go and get it off first. That way, I'm not battling this thing flopping around. See, it loosened up right there. I probably should have taken this one off first before I took the top one off, but I didn't. But this other one caught it, so. Now I don't know. I think that front gear on this one will stay in there. Nothing easy. There's the nut. I'll reach down in there and good thing about it, when it goes back on, it'll be clean. I have to get those washers off when they fall out when it comes out. I'll get this one off. Now, let's see how this pump comes off the gear, but we should be able to catching on a few things down here. What are we catching on? Throttle. Caught on the pump back there. Pull that out of the way. Like we may have to use a gear puller. I don't know that I have a small gear puller here. I still got the lines of a gear puller. As you can see here, we've got it pretty loose, but we're not coming all the way off there. So we'll get a gear puller and see what we can do. Unfortunately, I could not find a puller here. I've got some at the shop, my shop, but I'm at my school shop. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this plate, and if you see this nut, well, that nut won't go all the way through, but that's the diameter of the inside of the our gear. So I got this little piece of metal right here. I ground it down a little bit. What I'm gonna do is stick it in behind this, like that right there, and that should, when I put pressure on it with these bolts, that should push this gear out. We'll see. I'll get it set up here. I put a paper towel inside of my housing here. Put that paper towel in there. That kind of, if anything falls down through there, the paper towel is going to catch it. So let me get set up here and I'll get back with you. So I really don't have a good way to hold the phone, take video. I put that in there, and you have to go very slowly because it may not be lined up. And so that's kind of what I'm running into. So I'm gonna have to flip back and forth. I'm gonna see if I can get a better mount for you, but I'm gonna have to adjust it because the end of the shaft was sticking out just ever so slightly. So that piece is not gonna be perfectly centered when I start on it. So I'm gonna have to try to get it centered here. I've repositioned it a couple times. It's just been a little bit of back and forth, tighten and loosen, tighten and loosen. I may have to go and grind on it a little bit more, I don't know. I can definitely tell you it's not on right there. Moved it too much. May have to center it up and then draw a circle or something on it on this side so I can see it. Main thing is I just don't want to pop that gear, damage it or something. We've loosened it up a little bit more. Gravity's kind of playing with it a little bit here. Like I say, I've got a little gear puller that would probably do a perfect job at my shop. I didn't think to bring it with me. See how much we pushed it. We're still sticking out just a little bit. If I can get it to center on there, I should be able to pop it out. Probably not my best plan, but it'll work. We'll make it work. I was afraid of. But popped it off there. Keyway's still on. The gear's out. So I wasn't quite centered like I need to be on that. But we'll get it straightened up here. That little apparatus worked decent. We see right here. There's a washer in there. So we'll just put these back together. I'll put this, put my nut back on there, and I'll just hold all that in one spot there. That way I won't lose it. We've got the gear marked, so we know which way it goes. And it's also got a mark on it anyway. We'll lay our gear inside our tractor here. Then we'll feed this injection pump on out. Got a line in the way right there. Not bad. And there it is. And it's got a key in it. And we should have her lined up. We'll send it off and they can get it all cleaned up. Get it rebuilt, and that way we'll feel assured that when we put this back together, we should start pretty easily. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll get on with the next step. We'll get back with you. I want to take a moment here at the end of this video to explain a few things that I was doing in the video. A couple of things I could have done a little better, and I wanted to explain those to you right now. So one of the things I wanted to straighten up a little bit is that in the manual it just says to remove bolts, remove gear, and remove the injection pump. And on the John Deere that I did here last year, very similar pump, on it you had to loosen the bolts up on the injection pump first and then pop the gear off. And a lot of that was because it had a cover here and you just had a small access hole on that. With this one having a full cover off of it, my recommendation on this particular engine is to leave the bolts tightened up on the injection pump and then pop the gear off. Now, having said that, I kind of think, I went home and was laying in bed thinking, and I think that this itself is actually a puller. Now, you'll notice in the video that I kind of was a little confused, thinking that the gear was going to slide off without having to have a puller because the gear had loosened up. So I loosened the bolts up on the injection pump first, and the pump was still tight in there. And then I loosened these two up and also loosened the center one up, and I loosened it up first. And so I had some slack in there, so I was thinking that the gear might just pop off, and I have had that happen before. But what I think is that when I had these two bolts still tightened down and I turned this one to the left, that is basically acting like a gear puller, because I'm threading it off the end of that pump shaft and I'm pushing it off the pump. And so I think where I made the little piece of metal that set in behind this little flat plate here, I made that piece of metal that set right in there on the end of the gear shaft, shaft on the injection pump, and then I pressed it off with this. I believe if I just left that on there and left the bolts in there and threaded this all the way to the left, I do believe that it would have popped off. Again, the book is not real clear on that, but I think the way this is made, that it would be its very own gear puller and pop that gear off. So what I would do is leave the bolts tightened up on the injection pump and pop the gear off that way. Makes it a little bit easier. And like I say, I believe that this piece right here, this plate and the nut on the end of the shaft, I believe those are their very own gear puller. The book doesn't say that, the Kubota manual doesn't say that, but I kind of feel like that's what we've got. So hopefully that helps you whenever you go to remove an injection pump off of one of these Kubotas. 6950, 7950, M7500, 7030, all those, an 8030, there's probably an 8950, and there's probably a couple more that will have a very similar style engine and will remove the same way. So give me a like and a comment below if you've done this before and you use that as a puller, or if I'm way out in left field thinking that. Let me know. Thank you.